When a Scorpio cuts someone out of their life, it usually happens silently. No warning, no drama. And the most shocking part, once a Scorpio decides you're gone, there's almost never a way back. They disappeared. One day they were part of your life, and the next day, it feels like you no longer exist in their world. If you've ever been cut off by a Scorpio, you probably asked yourself the same question that many people ask. Why? Why would someone who once cared deeply suddenly shut the door completely? The truth is, Scorpio does not cut people off lightly. In fact, Scorpio is one of the most loyal signs in the zodiac. They can forgive mistakes. They can tolerate flaws. They can even stay silent through pain for a very long time. But once a certain invisible line is crossed, everything changes. And when Scorpio finally decides to remove someone from their life, that decision is rarely reversed. Today we are going to uncover the deep psychology behind this mysterious behavior. Because when Scorpio cuts someone off, there is always a deeper reason hiding beneath the surface. Reason 1: Scorpio watches everything before acting. Many people believe Scorpio suddenly cuts people off. But the truth is very different. For Scorpio, nothing is sudden. Long before the silence begins, Scorpio has already been observing. They notice the small inconsistencies in your words. They notice when your actions stop matching your promises. They notice when your energy changes. Scorpio is one of the most observant signs in the zodiac. While others are speaking, Scorpio is analyzing. While others are trusting blindly, Scorpio is collecting information quietly. This means that when Scorpio finally cuts someone off, it usually happens after a long period of silent observation. By the time you realize something is wrong, Scorpio has already made their decision. Reason 2: Betrayal is something Scorpio never forgets. There is one thing that Scorpio values above almost everything else: loyalty. For Scorpio, loyalty is not just a nice quality. It is the foundation of every relationship they build. Whether it's friendship, love, or family, Scorpio gives their trust very carefully. And when they finally trust someone, they expect that trust to be respected. But if that trust is broken, something inside Scorpio changes permanently. Unlike many other signs that may forgive easily, Scorpio has a memory that runs deep. They may stay calm on the surface. They may not confront you immediately. But internally, they are processing everything. And once Scorpio realizes that someone has crossed a serious line, they begin emotionally preparing to walk away. Reason 3: Scorpio does not believe in half relationships. Many people try to maintain connections even when those relationships become unhealthy. They tolerate disrespect. They accept emotional distance. They keep people around simply because of history. But Scorpio sees relationships differently. For Scorpio, relationships must be real. They must be honest. They must be meaningful. If a connection starts becoming fake, manipulative, or emotionally draining, Scorpio would rather walk away completely than stay trapped in something that feels false. To them, a clean ending is better than a slow, painful connection that has lost its truth. Reason 4: Scorpio values emotional protection. Scorpio feels emotions more intensely than most people realize. But here's the strange thing. They rarely show it. Scorpio has a powerful emotional depth, but they also have strong emotional walls. These walls exist for one reason: protection. If someone repeatedly hurts or disrespects them, Scorpio eventually decides that the safest option is distance. Not revenge. Not drama. Just distance. And once that emotional door closes, it becomes extremely difficult to reopen. Reason 5. Scorpio's silence is their final decision. Many zodiac signs express anger loudly. They argue. They confront. They explain their feelings. Scorpio often does the opposite. Instead of shouting, Scorpio becomes quiet. Instead of fighting, Scorpio withdraws. This silence is not weakness. It is a decision. When Scorpio stops explaining themselves, when they stop responding, when they stop reacting, it often means they have already emotionally detached. And at that point, the connection has already ended in their mind. Reason 6. Scorpio believes people reveal their true nature over time. One of Scorpio's strongest beliefs is that time reveals truth. People can pretend for a while. They can act loyal. They can say the right words. But eventually, their real character will appear. Scorpio is patient enough to wait for that moment. And when someone finally reveals their true intentions, Scorpio remembers. They may not react immediately, but they never forget. And sometimes, the moment Scorpio sees someone clearly for who they truly are, that is the moment the emotional connection quietly ends. Reason 7. Scorpio protects their inner circle. Scorpio is extremely selective about who they allow into their personal world. They prefer a small, trusted circle rather than many shallow connections. Because of this, anyone who enters Scorpio's inner circle holds a special place. But this also means the standards are very high. If someone within that circle breaks trust, creates chaos, or brings negativity, Scorpio will remove them without hesitation. Not because Scorpio is cold, but because Scorpio understands the importance of protecting their emotional space. Being cut off by a Scorpio can feel confusing. It can feel sudden. It can feel final. But the truth is, for Scorpio, that decision usually comes after a long period of silent observation, emotional processing, and inner reflection. They rarely remove people impulsively. And when they do, it's usually because they have already accepted that the connection can no longer be repaired. But here is the most interesting part. While Scorpio may close the door on certain people forever, they never forget the lessons those relationships taught them. Every experience shapes them. Every betrayal strengthens their boundaries. And every ending makes them even more selective about who they allow into their life next. Because in the mysterious world of Scorpio, trust is sacred, and once it is broken, there truly may be no coming back. But the story of Scorpio doesn't end there. Because when a Scorpio walks away from someone, it's not just about anger or hurt. It's about transformation. Scorpio is the sign of rebirth, mystery, and emotional power. And sometimes the act of cutting someone off is not about punishing the other person. It's about protecting their own future. Let's dive deeper into the psychology behind why Scorpio makes these final decisions. Reason 8. Scorpio gives more chances than people realize. One of the biggest misconceptions about Scorpio is unforgiveness. But in reality, Scorpio often gives more chances than anyone knows. The difference is, they give those chances silently. They don't announce it. They don't say, "This is the last time." Instead, they watch. They observe whether someone learns from their mistakes. They wait to see if they need to change. And if the same patterns continue, Scorpio slowly starts pulling their energy back. By the time the final cutoff happens, Scorpio has already given multiple unseen opportunities. But once those chances are exhausted, the door closes. Reason 9. Scorpio understands the power of distance. Some people believe that staying connected at all costs is the best way to maintain relationships. Scorpio disagrees. Scorpio understands something very important. Sometimes distance is the only way to protect your peace. If someone constantly brings chaos, dishonesty, or negativity into their life, Scorpio eventually realizes something simple. Not everyone deserves continued access to their energy. And instead of wasting time trying to fix people who refuse to change, Scorpio chooses separation, not out of cruelty, but out of self-respect. Reason 10. Scorpio values authenticity above everything. Scorpio has a deep instinct for authenticity. They can sense when someone is being real. And they can also sense when someone is pretending. Fake smiles, hidden intentions, manipulative behavior. These things rarely escape Scorpio's perception. And while Scorpio may tolerate certain flaws, they struggle to tolerate dishonesty. Once Scorpio realizes that someone is consistently wearing a mask, their interest in that relationship fades quickly. Because Scorpio would rather be alone than surrounded by people who are not genuine. Reason 11. Scorpio learns from pain. Every zodiac sign experiences pain. But Scorpio processes pain differently. Instead of ignoring it or escaping it, Scorpio studies it. They reflect on what went wrong. They analyze the situation. They ask themselves difficult questions. What signs did I miss? What boundaries should I have set earlier? What lesson is hidden in this experience? This deep emotional reflection makes Scorpio wiser with every difficult experience. And sometimes the result of that reflection is a powerful realization. Some people were never meant to stay. And letting them go becomes the healthiest decision Scorpio can make. Reason 12. Scorpio protects their future. Scorpio is known for thinking deeply about long-term consequences. They understand that the people around them influence their emotional life, their mindset, and even their future direction. If someone consistently brings drama, dishonesty, or emotional instability into their world, Scorpio begins to question whether that person belongs in their future. And if the answer becomes clear, they make a decisive move. They remove the source of the problem completely. Because Scorpio believes something very strongly. Your future becomes stronger when the wrong people are no longer part of it. Reason 13. Scorpio does not fear being alone. Many people stay in unhealthy relationships because they fear loneliness. But Scorpio is different. Scorpio is one of the few signs that is truly comfortable with solitude. They use time alone to think, to rebuild, to transform. This independence makes it easier for Scorpio to walk away when necessary. Because they know that peace alone is better than chaos with the wrong people. And this mindset gives Scorpio a quiet strength that many people underestimate. Final reflection. When a Scorpio cuts someone off, it can feel harsh. It can feel mysterious. And sometimes it can feel permanent. But from Scorpio's perspective, that decision is rarely impulsive. It is usually the result of careful observation, emotional processing, and deep reflection. Scorpio doesn't remove people casually. But once they understand that a connection is damaging, dishonest, or no longer meaningful, they choose to close that chapter completely. And that is why the phrase often feels true. When Scorpio cuts you off, there may truly be no coming back. If you've ever experienced this mysterious Scorpio behavior, you're not alone. Many people find themselves wondering what happened. But the deeper truth is simple. Scorpio doesn't cut people off to create enemies. They cut people off to protect their peace. If you enjoyed uncovering the hidden psychology of Scorpio, make sure to subscribe to Cosmic Insight Daily for more deep insights into zodiac personalities and the mysteries of astrology. Because sometimes understanding the stars helps us understand people.